folks. Welcome back to Divas, Diamonds, and Dollars podcast. We empower career women, business owners, and late bloomers with the tools and strategies for living a bolder, fuller life. Each week, we talk leadership, personal finance, and business. Follow us to get ahead and succeed at a higher level. Folks, we are your hosts, Larisa Troche and
I am Cecilia Benford.
Curious. What label have you given your extracurricular work, aka money making activities? Are you a multi hyphenate? Working your side gig or side hustle? Do you feel like a serial entrepreneur starting one business after another, but nothing really took off? Or maybe
Mm.
you're overseeing a portfolio of businesses. So, really, whatever you choose to call it, there's more than a small chance that you need a solid framework to keep, keep it all together. So let's discuss. Now, we've spent several episodes, and by that I mean over the seasons, because we do try and mix it up a little bit. But, over the seasons, we have been regaling you with the benefits of multipreneurship, otherwise known as income diversification. These days, with the advent of advanced technology, it's easier than ever to comfortably diversify your income across five or more revenue streams and still live to talk about it. So for July's theme, it's Grim to Great, and coincidentally, not too coincidentally, also the name of my new book, gentle listener. So get your copy today. We will essentially be giving you a multipreneur masterclass this month. Today's episode is frankly more of an overview of the things that we will be talking about over the next few weeks. So today, just wrap your head around the concept, and then each week we're going to break down the concept so you will be ready to go.
Hmm. Did you say multipreneur masterclass? Wow.
Mhm.
So we're up there, ladies. So here we go. Now when you're talking masterclass, you got to get the facts, right? And we keep up with the facts. So if you're following the news, you may have seen the headline that Social Security's insolvency is now around 2032 instead of 2035. I was just reading this yesterday. And when I first saw the headline, I was like, I don't know if I need to read this. But then again, I decided I would because I thought, well, I gotta look at where I am, where I will be, right? It's not that far from now. And I was looking at some of the statistics, and the particular article that I was reading was about, well, they had a lot to say about Ohio, which is where I live, because we have a lot of elderly people here and what has happened or not happened with, Congress and the states folks and all that. So not to, be the gloom doom, but just facts, just the facts, ma'am. That could be pretty impactful depending on how close you are to retirement. So that's why this is called a master class. We want you to have it first, in the middle, and at the end. So, you got to be thinking about how much time do you have to get your passive streams funded? You want them not only funded, but you want cash flowing, right? So, while disturbing, two things are worth mentioning. Social Security was never meant to be a sole source of retirement income. Seems kind of obvious, but we do have to say that. It was supposed to supplement your other retirement sources. And I feel like since it's sort of a missing piece, we have people out there, the powers that be, who really don't care whether you have Social Security or not, okay? Because they're in this other group of people, the money people. So, but the somewhat good news is this. When the word insolvency is mentioned, it really means that your benefits are reduced by 20%. Hey, you still receive about 80% of your scheduled payments, but really nobody wants to miss any of their payments. But I do find the use of the word insolvency scary, right? But So you want to hold on to 100%, but you don't know if you're going to be able to hold on to 100%. So not limping along in retirement is just one of the many reasons that you want to diversify your income. It's called lifestyle see, I'm stumbling over this word because it's such a horrifying thought, maybe. Not to have lifestyle independence. I know I'm all about the lifestyle independence. The biggest thing I'm grateful for, you know. So where to start? Well, we're going to give you 4 ways to get started. So, that word plan what? But we always talk about planning. But guess what? People don't. So we got to talk about it again. The number one way that you can begin earning more money is using your brain. It's the most powerful thing that you have is your brain. Get paid for what you already know. This might mean making more money while still in your 9 to 5. There's no prohibition against that. It's your brain. What knowledge gaps, systems, or operational holes can you fill or otherwise improve and qualify for a promotion or raise? I was just telling somebody about this maybe a couple days ago. While this episode is more than Social Security, it is worth mentioning that your benefits are based on your highest 3 years of earnings. Do you need to bump up your pay? Let's go for it. Pencil out process improvements. Yes, whether it's a pencil or a digital notebook, whatever, there are always process improvements. Areas the company can save money or reduce waste, perhaps, and make your pitch. Make it relevant to the company's bottom line and negotiate for a new role, promotion, and or pay raise. And I think that, I mean, we've all been, well, I don't know where you are, in your career, but I can speak for myself, and certainly I'm sure Larisa would agree with this. You, having been in different organizations and, people come through different process improvement areas as Risa speaks to the Kaizans that exist and are necessary. I can just, having worked for the government, we were always going through something new, process improvements. It's just some places, leaders, kingmakers, if you will, were better at it than others. And I don't know why, but for myself, that was one of my gifts is I was always winning process improvement awards because that's what I would see. And, just always wanted to make something better. So, like I say, make it relevant to your company and turn that into a raise, okay? Promotion, whatever, but something that values what you have shared. How about outside earning? So you're a smart cookie, you know. So what's hosting workshops or training sessions now while you're working to help others improve, to become more impactful leaders and mentors, for example? I'm pretty sure we all know some leaders or others that we need to. I mean, if you were king, queen for a day, you would say, oh, that person needs some help. Be the one, be the lead, okay? These skills truly are in dire need today. I think, it's sort of like when COVID happened and, the times afterwards, we're still trying to figure it out. Companies are still trying to figure it out. And employees are a different breed today. And so your background and know-how can get you paid. I remember we did a trend some months ago. I can't remember which one it was, but we talked about that. People are looking for just this very kind of experience for what you can offer. So it also gives you the opportunity to do a proof of concept for what are ready to put out there for others. And street cred, that's something that's very powerful. It's funny, I was just using this a few days ago in some presentation that I was using. When you have street cred, people will follow you. People are interested. People trust what you have to offer. So, like I say, proving your concept, having some street cred before you have cut the ties, but knowing that you can and will, you're on your way.
So we mentioned helping leaders be more impactful, helping managers be more impactful leaders and mentors. The money spot. Someone needs to figure this out because I need to know this. Working with the younger generation. Now, which alphabet are we on right now? I'm not sure. Let's
Not
just go with
me.
the millennials, because they're always part of the business articles about, do we call it their mindset, their work ethic, or how they feel and otherwise perform when they get to the office, or otherwise don't perform? Look, this is a real thing. So listen, gentle listeners, if you have the key, you can write your own check if you know how to bridge the gap between uh or that well, we already said in some episode in the past that there's generally about 6 generations in the office place, and this younger generation is just not having it right now. So if
Mhm.
you can help them muster up the ability to be, and look, do you want to still someone's creativity or youthful enthusiasm? No. Would you like to see some youthful enthusiasm? Well, yes. But anyway, I digress, but it occurred to me that that would be a huge selling point if you could figure out what that key was and market that. Talk about writing your own ticket, and you could build that up because you would have people lining up at your door as sign me up. I need that information. Anyway, so if you want to just do some heavy lifting, that might be your thing. You heard it here first. That is your that's a bonus Devalicious Pro tip. So we talked about planning, and that it all starts with a plan. You must have an idea. I don't we you know there's planning and then there's planning. So we just need you to have a real, what's it called? Monetizable concept before you jump off the deep end. Now let's talk about the plot. And the plot, how do you plot your way? This is the how of it all. Well, here's the thing. I'm suggesting you go live while you're still working your 9 to 5. That is, to me, it's the best of both worlds, right? So your Devalicious Pro tip early on is moonlighting is a great way to build your business on the side while keeping a regular paycheck. And the benefits. It's the benefits that really make the difference. Once you turn 40, you don't need your benefits. So, get your paycheck and your benefits till you're solidly in the black with your new venture. No one is suggesting you go off the deep end. That is not how we do it over here. Okay.
Mhm.
So this is the time to put systems in place. Your how is to put systems in place. And I'm really suggesting, because I know I waited too long for this, so don't you do the same thing. Get a VA if your budget allows. And you do not need a full-time person because you're probably not doing that much to start, right? Someone part-time. And you can go across the deep waters where the VAs can be a lot cheap, or maybe look a little closer to home. Cough, cough. Um, a VA really can free up some of your time so you can do the heavy lifting, and then they can do some of the admin in the back office. It's that admin in the back office and the repetition and the this and the that. What do they call those? Energy vampires. And so anywho, so that is the time. You want to do that in the beginning, put systems in place, get a VA. You will definitely need to market your offerings, gentle person, so you can automate as part of your marketing, you can automate and repurpose your social media content. You got to do it. It is whatever year this is, 2026, it is not going away anytime soon. The algorithms may change, but you still need to be out there front and center where your viewers are, where your audience is. Now, whether you monetize your IP, you remember that's your intellectual property via paid programming with YouTube or TikTok, or even if you're selling templates, for example, on Etsy, there are critical steps, that is your new word for the day. There are critical steps that you can take to build community and interest around your topic. If there was ever a building block that you need to start a lot earlier than you think you do, it is building that community, gentle persons. You can't do it alone. You can't. Document your processes and systemize your business from the beginning to reduce. And notice I did not say eliminate, to reduce your stress as you grow. This is the big how. How means systems, processes, and procedures that are documented so that you can at some point delegate and otherwise hand off, that you're not deep in the weeds. You're out here being the brain and someone else is doing the minutia. And let's talk about the pace. That is the timing of your launch. When do you go live? Now, frankly, I'm a big fan of right now because the best time to start was yesterday, and the second best time, today. So, launching sooner rather than later allows time for the magic of compounding. I look at young people today, and I have one mentee, if you will, and she keeps getting the new tattoos, or she's doing the this, or she's traveling, which good. Okay, play, have a good time. But I'm like, do you just not think you're gonna live that long? Why are you not putting some of this money, why are you not investing some of this money? And it's not like I don't go shopping. I do go shopping. Yeah, I know I do. Um, but I'm also investing simultaneously. So anyway, I just wonder about that when I see young people like, do you just think you're gonna die tomorrow? Which we don't know, but still put some of those little nuts away for the future. Anyway, magic of compounding, particularly important with your investments. You got time on your side. That's the thing that I'm just like, I don't want to use the word jealous, but I'm talking to my late bloomers here. When you start late, you don't actually have that extra time, right? So the earlier you start gives you time to compound. So it's great for your investments. That's the critical thing that people miss out on is time in the market. But it's also critical to the momentum building over time to your business reaches critical mass of consistent income. So that is why I said start right now, because if you wait until everything is perfect and the stars align just so, you're going to miss out on, building that audience. The audience is when I say audience, I'm talking paying customers. Okay, in case you were not clear on that. That is your audience, and you need to start sooner rather than later to build them because it takes 7 to 10 touches before people get to yes. So that is time, gentle persons. And perhaps consider launching in phases, right? A soft launch for your most devoted following, tweak and launch virtually, perhaps. And then, Cecilia, what do you think about broadly with live events if that's your business model, right? So you got different ways to do it, but the thing is to get going. And here's the other thing talk about early is building some momentum. How about considering collaborations to expand your reach? Once you have that proof of concept we talked about, right? So you have some momentum behind you. Reach out to your partners and referral partners or people who also serve your clients, but in a different way. And then you two can collaborate and that gives you greater market share. So that in a nutshell is about the pace. We talked about the plot. And now, ta-da, time to power up. What are we going to do with that, Cecilia? How do you want to share that with the people?
Hmm. Well, when you asked the question a little bit ago about the launching, and I started thinking about all the ways people are launching today. It's like launching on steroids. So, power up. I think the imagery, I love it. Power up is truly implementing and performing. And so, for those somewhat wallflowers and all, you can have all that other, the timing's right. I got the plot, I got the plan going, but if you don't get it out there, you're almost back to square one, right? And so this is what you've been waiting for to see your dreams come to fruition. And one thing I truly believe is that once you start and then you take another step and another step, you will gain some momentum, you will gain more confidence, and you will get to see people coming back to you and, at least get some input, how's it going? So you can fine tune and, home while you're working your job. Just don't jump into the deep end without the documentation and revenue cash flow because you need that as validation that you have a marketable idea. And I believe we give you steps by step, and that, everything requires this logical flow to really make it happen. And that's what you have to be about. And so I want to go back to Larisa's book. You can visualize from grim to great. You can just visualize, someone, thinking about it and not necessarily uh, maybe making it what the first dream was, or that there were things that got in the way. But from grim to great, don't that isn't that where you want to be? And so here, you have an author who tells you about that, and we're sharing some of those things from the book. But it's all very possible, and I love these stories that show that when people tell where they were and where they are now. And so I'm going to give you a summary, just to review. I sort of launched into this, but I didn't call it summary, and I think this bears repeating. You start with planning the different ways based on your skills, knowledge, and assessments of, where you've been, where abilities of where you've been, what you can do. Don't shortchange yourself. So, what are the SKAs that you can possibly diversify your income? You know, I'm just going to use human resources. I was talking to my bonus daughter, and she was going through the things that she likes about HR or that she knows about HR. That's how she put it. But she said, but that wasn't her passion. Then she talked about the things that she knows about HR and really knows about HR, really like the other part, but this was her passion and this is what she was going to do. And so that's how you have to look at not only what you bring to the table, but what are you passionate about that you can possibly diversify into income and ideally narrow that down to one or two that you're going to really hone on. Don't take the whole package. Just take, some part of it, right? I don't want to say two or three or whatever, but you work out the mechanics of the how to begin implementing what those choices are. It might be just one choice. And then you need to pace yourself. Timing is everything. It is critical. You must be aware of what that is for you. What's going on in your life? Yes, things do happen, and sometimes they create um, a setback. And so, how much bandwidth do you realistically have? And lastly, you power up. You activate your new streams and optimize with, systems to lessen the stress and increase the likelihood of continuance and expansion. All of those are in the realm of possibility. So, want to know more? Be sure to stay tuned for the detailed episodes coming up this month that are going to use as the backdrop the real book, the real awareness from grim to great challenge.
Well, I'm just gonna say, I probably said in the beginning that today is just the primer for our month-long G2G challenge. So over the next few weeks, we will help you confidently create your framework. You have to have a framework for your personal income diversification and systems. So make sure you tune in each week for each episode as each one builds on the preceding step. So we will see you there, divas. Cheers. Ciao.